Because, Your Honor, I object to
What
the
do
fact
you
that
not
it's calling it
understand?
an
Sir,
ORB.
your objections mean shit to me. So you keep saying, I object, I object, I object. I don't care. I don't care what you're objecting to. I'm going to hold you in contempt the next time you cut her off.
Well, I do object to the setting aside of my motion, Your Honor.
I'm not setting aside your motion. I'm denying your motion.
Well, denying. I object to the
You
denying.
can't object. You can appeal. Brother, why'd you just waste 5 minutes of my...
All right, folks. Today, we've got one of the most defiant sovereign citizens we've ever featured on this channel. This guy's ego is off the charts. He flat out refuses to answer even the simplest questions from none other than Judge Oakley, the best judge on YouTube. It's honestly unbelievable how he thinks he can sidestep the law and out-talk the judge with his nonsense. But Judge Oakley, he handles it like a total pro. Cool, composed, and sharp, he puts this sovereign citizen right back in his place without breaking a sweat. As you watch, I want to hear your thoughts. Did Judge Oakley nail it, or do you think he should have been even tougher? Drop your ratings from 1 to 10 in the comments below. Now, let's dive into one of the wildest courtroom showdowns I've seen in a long time.
I actually have issues to discuss before I cross.
But the court reporter needs to pick you up.
Here, you don't have to be at the podium, but at least have a seat at that table where that microphone is.
Threats, coercion, and I'm under duress. I'll cross.
You're under duress. How are you under duress?
Well, Your Honor, as stated in my motion, there's actually fraudulent word that was sent to me unsigned by a judge. I have lawsuits filed on all of this stuff right now, which I know that they received.
Hold on, brother. Wait. I'm just asking you to have a seat at the chair with a microphone.
Oh, I understand that. I'll do it. Okay. The front protect us.
That's fine. Just make sure you're talking to the microphone.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, you can sit down. Okay. So I think this is your motion to dismiss, right?
Yes, I have a few in there that I've been repeatedly trying to be dismissed.
Which one do you want to start with first?
Well, the recent one I filed, the motion to reject swearing in and all that, based off the fact that, like I said, I was sent a default motion that I don't know how it even got sent out and passed it, but it was never signed or anything. I was also defaulted out the fact that there was a citation. I never even presented a court appearance.
Okay, hold on. You're giving me too many issues. You're talking about swearing in. You're talking about a default judgment. Just pick one issue. We're going to deal with them one at a time. So what do you want to deal with first?
Well, my main motion. Well, yeah, the default.
Okay, so was that on the civil infraction, failed to disclose the CPL?
I suppose that's what it was under, yes.
Okay, don't suppose, it's your motion, brother. Tell me what it is.
Well, it keeps getting
that's the only civil infraction.
I have numerous, I have lots of stuff.
Hold on, that's the only civil infraction I see with your name on it. So I'm just confirming that we're talking about that charge.
Yes, right.
Okay. So do you know why the default was entered? Did you miss a deadline? Did you
I was notified. I was called by people that I know within Huron and the police chief stating that I had a missed appearance date. I never had an appearance date scheduled, but I went back looking at the citation. There was no date, and actually how fast it got issued raises real concerns to me. And then once I received the default in the order.
Hold on. Let's take one thing at a time. So you said you never got an appearance date.
Correct.
Do you have a copy of the ticket? Because I've got a copy.
Yeah, I said it's in there. It's attached to my motions.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the ticket?
I do.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask you to look at that copy of the ticket, because my copy of your ticket says contact court for appearance date.
It says contact court for appearance date. Where it says appearance date on or before, there's nothing.
Okay, but it says contact court for appearance date. That means the monkey's on your back to contact us.
I will also on the bottom of the tickets, it says if you fail to contact court within the specified amount of time. There was no specified amount of time on here. I had no idea when I was supposed to contact court. I was dealing with trying to get my attorney.
Let me ask you this. Did you contact the court?
I was again, as I said, I had no sort of any time frame to contact the court.
Mr. Crucell, this is going to go a lot easier on everybody if you just answer the question I asked. I'm going to give you plenty of chance to give me any argument you want to give. Okay? So don't feel that you have to force your argument into every question I ask. The question was, did you contact the court?
Well, Your Honor, I would have contacted the court if I had a specified.
That's a yes or no. So I'm going to take that as a no. You didn't contact the court. So after 14 days on a civil infraction, if we don't hear from the defendant, we enter default.
It was less than that, actually, when I was defaulted, Your Honor.
Less than that from what?
From whatever this was issued. And like I said, I was contacting.
Well, once again, I'm going to draw your attention to the ticket.
The problem with sovereign citizens is they love twisting courtroom rules like it's some bad legal drama. It's fake, it's shady, and honestly, that's why people, including me, can't stand dealing with them. Just to be clear, I'm not a sovereign citizen, but if I were, I'd at least show some respect to avoid a contempt charge. They're not the worst people, but if they chilled out and respected the judge, maybe they'd get treated better. Refusing to answer simple questions, that's just ego, and it's not helping their case.
My ticket, which I think is the same one you got, is dated February 3rd.
Correct.
Okay, so that's when it was issued, February 3rd.
Correct.
So when was the default? When did you get notice of a default?
Actually, I received, I'm sorry, I know I got the thing in the mail. When did I get this? This says that, I don't even think it specifies a date.
Well, did you make a note when you received it?
This told me, this said I don't remember exactly what date I received this in the
Okay.
mail, but this was scheduled for March 8th.
Okay.
So that was even less than a
But what is that that's scheduled?
This says it was for my order, the motion affidavit saying that I was defaulted and saying that I needed to pay bond and a warrant would be issued. And I said,
Okay.
again, that was never.
And that's dated what?
This was dated 3/8. That I needed to appear
Okay.
on or before 3/8.
Okay, so that was March 8th. You were defaulted February 22nd.
Okay. Which then, again, there was no dates. I had no nothing. I had no
Okay.
notice
Well,
of any
well,
sort of.
Once again, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. The monkey was on your back. The ticket clearly said you contact us. You never did.
And it also specifies right here, if you fail to appear by the date specified, and then on the bottom one, even for the other one, if you fail to answer a citation by date specified, there was no dates.
Okay,
There was no dates.
okay. Do you have anything to add?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Crusoe brought this up when we were in front of the Honorable Judge Martin. She did set aside the default in the civil infraction, irregardless of whether or not he showed up.
Which I object to the setting
Sir, do
aside.
not interrupt the lady. Did she interrupt you?
No,
Then don't do that. Let's be civil. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge Green, Mr. Crusoe did bring it up again with the Honorable Judge Green, and she declined or denied his motion based on the fact that it was moot because the Judge Martin set it aside.
So the default's already been set aside.
Yes,
Brother, why'd you just waste 5 minutes of my life?
since March 14th, Your Honor.
which I object to that because there's.
You object to your motion being
No, I
granted?
object to them setting aside.
This guy's out here claiming there has to be an injured party for his criminal case. Like, seriously, let me explain. The injured party doesn't have to be someone physically hurt. The state is the injured party because breaking the law affects everyone. That's why the judge said the injured party is the people of Michigan. You can't just break the law and say, no one's bleeding, so I'm good. That's like robbing a bank and saying, unless the vault complains, I'm innocent. What do you think? Clueless or just wasting time? Let's see if he can top this. Nonsense. Next voice, next voice. This is why I have so much respect for this judge. He handles sovereign citizens perfectly, doesn't let them hijack the courtroom with nonsense, and isn't afraid to call them out when they twist the law.
Wait,
Some of you in
listen.
the comments say he's
She
too
tells me
harsh,
Judge
but
Martin set
honestly,
aside the
I
default
think it's
based on your
necessary.
motion.
Yes, but I was never
Sovereign
told any of
citizens
that
act
prior
like the
to
law
any of
doesn't
that.
apply to
So
them.
you want to argue about the
And
fact that you got
sometimes a
what you
firm
asked for?
approach, or even a little
No, what I'm
sarcasm,
saying is the fact that
is the
due
only way
process
to
was
keep things in
violated
check.
is what happened in
What
this
do
whole
you
process. When I was
think?
defaulted,
Is
due
the
process
judge
was
too
violated.
harsh? Or is
So
he just
what?
doing
She
his
set it
job?
aside.
Personally,
No,
I think he's
listen,
spot on.
when-
Letting the courtroom
Yeah,
turn
set
into a
aside caused
circus
damages to
isn't
me
an
because of
option.
what happened with the default.
Let's dive
Well,
back
explain
in.
to me how you were
This
damaged.
guy might be
First
about to
off, there's
rack up
threats made
another
against me,
fine.
right?
Next
Clearly
voice,
threatening me
next
to
No, no, no.
voice.
I didn't ask you about
Threatening to pay
threats.
money.
I said, how were you? You said you were damaged. I'm asking you, what was
Wish
the
we could
damage?
see this guy's face right
Matter of fact,
now.
that I was
The
threatening
time he
to pay money
wastes
or
trying to
How was that
understand
damage?
basic stuff like
And
a
that's being
probable
threatened by
cause
here on police,
conference
which I
is
have
just
on record.
What's the
infuriating.
damage?
It's not rocket science.
What do you mean? The
It's
fact that I
simply
had to come
about
in and
seeing
pay
if there's
money or
enough
I would've
evidence to
been-
move
there'd been
forward.
What money did you
But he
pay?
acts like he's studying for the
What
bar
money did you
exam.
pay?
$280. I
And
had to
that
receive
grilled
everything was
cheese
all attached to
moment
my motions.
had me
They
cracking
just keep
up.
trying to set it aside.
Do you
and
think
Judge
he's
Green
really
never said a word to me
clueless
about any of
or
It's
just
been set
pretending to
aside.
be? Either
Counsel
way,
just
he
said,
probably thinks
Judge
he's
Martin
clever,
set
but
aside
he looks
the
like a
default.
total fool.
So what that
Let's
means
dive
is
back in.
procedurally,
This is about to get wild.
it's like it's a brand new file.
Next voice, next voice.
Understood?
Yeah,
This
but that's
court
according-
hearing
yeah, but
should be
that-
over by
especially now with the
now.
new Chevron overall,
But this
that's just
sovereign
saying that
citizen
she
is
can-
dragging
she's
it
just trying
out
to
like
set
it's his
aside that
personal
there's
TED
no
Talk.
issues with
She didn't
the
try
court.
to
It's
set
crazy
aside.
how
She
he
sat
thinks
at
the
her side.
judge is his personal. Legal
Just set my rights
assistant,
aside.
demanding answers
She's
to
not
things
setting
he
your
should
rights aside.
already
She's
know.
setting this all
Judge
aside
Oakley
because
is
you
trying to
asked her
keep things on track,
Well, so
but
if it's set
if this guy
aside, the
can't
money should
follow
be
basic
returned,
rules, I don't know what will.
Well, I don't know. Did she address
Maybe
the
a
money?
night in jail will do the
No, she
trick.
never did. No
What do
one
you
did. I
think?
extended my
Time for
motion.
the judge to lay down the hammer.
I'm going to hold you in contempt.
Let's see if this
The next time
guy finally shuts up or ends up behind bars. Next voice, next voice. Boom, 30 days, just like that. If that's not a wake-up call for sovereign citizens, I don't know what is. If you're up against Judge Oakley, maybe rethink your strategy and hire a lawyer. This guy tried to outsmart the system, but all he had to do was answer basic questions. Instead, he ended up in jail. The law isn't optional, and Judge Oakley doesn't play around. What do you think? Was the judge too harsh or spot on? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
The first contempt, $100. The second contempt, a day in jail. Are we clear on the ground rules for my courtroom? Is that a yes for the
Yes, Your
record?
Honor.
Okay. I'm giving you all the time you need to talk. Don't talk over her.
Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. There's just been a lot that's been going on with this.
And I'm the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
You're right.
All right. So we started with what motion do you want to talk about first? You said your motion to set aside the default. That was granted by Judge Martin, is what I'm hearing from the prosecutor. So that motion's done. Would you agree?
As long as my money gets returned, then I guess it's taken
At
care
some
of.
point, trust me, your money will either get applied or returned. Next motion you want to talk about.
The dismissal based off of fundamental violations of my fundamental rights and due process.
Okay, well, tell me more.
Okay.
You have, hold on, let me just cut to the chase. Do you have more than just the fact that you think you have a right to travel?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually,
That's denied. I'll just cut to the chase. That's denied. I don't buy into that argument. Now, you can appeal that decision to the circuit court. You understand how that works? District court decisions you can appeal.
absolutely.
Okay, hold on. I've denied that motion. We're not going to talk about that motion because I've denied it based on your argument that you have a right to travel and don't need a license. Is there anything else you want to hang your hat on for dismissal?
Well, I do object to the setting aside of my motion, Your Honor.
I'm not setting aside your motion. I'm denying your motion.
Well, denying. I object to the
You
denying.
can't
of my motion.
object. You can appeal.
Well, I'm just
Okay.
letting you know, I'm stating for the record that I am objecting to your denial of my appeal.
That's fine.
Okay.
Circuit court judges have bills to pay too, right? So you appeal me to the circuit court. Do you have any other argument why these cases should be dismissed?
Yes, absolutely. Well, honestly, Your Honor, like I said, I even have lawsuits. They've received my lawsuits to the Huron Township Police Department overall.
Hold on. I don't know anything about lawsuit. How would you suing the township work as a reason to dismiss these charges?
Because the initial traffic stop and everything was an unlawful stop from the get. I was
Okay, but that's got nothing to do with your lawsuit. That might be the basis of your lawsuit. So you want to talk about whether or not there was a valid reason for a
Yeah,
stop?
absolutely.
Then make the argument.
Your Honor, so prior to me being pulled over by this officer, I was actually in contact with several law enforcement officers that are friends, and actually two that are currently working within Huron that had confirmed I had every lawful right to be doing what I was doing. The one even pulled up to me and my wife at a gas station in town, and we had, or in Sibley and Middlebelt, right near actually where I got pulled over, and we had discussed it and talked about it, and went on about our day, and this was all prior to this incident. I had two other interactions with this officer where I had specifically told him, I've already been confirmed and doing lawful, I'm well within my lawful rights. I have it documented. You need to go talk to the sergeant that I've been talking to and a couple other buddies, right? I gave him that opportunity. It was shortly after that. And I had that confirmation well prior to me even being pulled over. Okay. So then, this officer seen me leaving my house, pulling off my dead end dirt road, proceeded. Like I said, I even told him, I've already had this, I've already used that system. You need to go talk to the sergeant.
Right.
Chose not to. Pulled me over, walked up, just started demanding ID and everything from me, and wouldn't identify himself, none of that good stuff. And then now this is where it's all led to. And I informed him, I have body cams, I have my own recording. Like I said, I have a lot.
Okay, but you started out by saying you wanted this dismissed because there was not probable cause for the stop.
Correct.
Okay. And then you went on to tell me how there was obviously a difference in opinion within the department about whether or not what you were doing was legal or not.
Well, I
Is that
specifically
a fair
stated.
summation?
What was that?
Is that a fair summation of what you just said? Some of the officers that you talked to said you could do that, and obviously the officer that wrote you the ticket didn't think you could.
Correct.
Okay, so that's a difference of opinion there, which has very little